This is Siouxland News at 10 on KMEG 14.
An April blizzard in Siouxland has left us digging out once again this year, and hopefully for the final time. Many roads and in and around Siouxland were either closed or listed as travel not advised through much of the day because of the blizzard conditions. This video from Live Storm Media shows Siouxlanders out braving the storm, emergency vehicles trying to get around safely, and even a complete whiteout on I-29. Good evening, I'm Yetska Waudan. Thank you for joining us tonight. Siouxland News has been covering this winter storm all day as it hit Siouxland and caused travel issues for many across the tri-state region and beyond. Our First Look weather team has been keeping us informed all day long, and meteorologist Lydia Knox joins us live now inside the studios. Lydia, saying the usual goes, April showers brings May flowers, but what about an April blizzard?
Well, Yetska, I'm hoping for a very long and hopefully soon coming summer, because that's really what we're all hoping for now. Not this snow that I'm seeing across the satellite and radar. You can see the swirl continuing to turn counterclockwise. That's that low pressure system continuing to track its way eastward throughout Iowa. The snow still following up in Sioux Falls, down to the south, even towards Omaha. So many places in the tri-state area are still looking at very snowy and whiteout conditions in some places. Our Skywatch camera is looking out over Kingsley this evening, where you can see the winds whipping, causing those flags to move. This view is sponsored by FS Repair in the city of Kingsley. And some of our wind gusts today were anywhere between 40 to over 50 miles per hour. You can see in Spencer there a gust up to 59. So a very blizzard-like day. And for many of our furry friends, a squirrel here, this picture sent in by Bob, you can tell is just trying to stay warm with these bitter cold conditions and much below average temperatures for this time of year. We're going to see the snow persist throughout the overnight hours, ending early morning Sunday for some places. Other places could see that linger even on into the mid-morning hours tomorrow. All more details on just how much more snow we're expecting and where it's going to end coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Lydia. Travel warnings were issued and motorists were advised to stay inside and off the roads as visibility decreased. This is video of a box truck that rolled off of Interstate 29 just inside the South Dakota border near our studios. The driver did not receive any serious injuries, thankfully, and this wasn't the only accident due to the storm. Rescuers from Sergeant Bluff, Salix, and Sloan responded to a 3-car accident around 2:15 on I-29 that slowed traffic near Salix. An Iowa State Patrol car was damaged in an accident this afternoon. The sergeant was out of his vehicle checking on an accident when a vehicle traveling too fast slid into the rear of his patrol car. 3 people were in that car and were treated with minor injuries. The trooper was not injured in the accident. Spring has sprung quite the winter storm this weekend, causing slick road conditions all around Siouxland. High winds made it nearly impossible to see anything both on the interstate and the highway. Streets through Sioux City weren't much better. City crews were out keeping the streets as clear as they could throughout the afternoon and will continue to work through the night. Up the road in Kingsley, Iowa, snow was seen blowing across the roads through town. Drifts were also quickly forming on the main roads, making travel hazardous. City and county crews were also working to keep the streets and the highway clear throughout the afternoon and into the evening. We've been asking for them all day long, your photos and videos of the April blizzard from around Siouxland, and you delivered. Let's check out a few of them from Chime In. The first one was sent to us by Joel Reclatus in Nebraska, where heavy, wet snow was blowing through much of the day. This next one is from right here in Sioux City on I-29, 12:30 this afternoon, sent in by Cynthia. And this one sent in by John. This is the view from the 3700 block of Jackson Street in Sioux City earlier this afternoon. For more photos and videos from Chime In today, just check out SiouxlandNews.com. And while many Siouxlanders stayed indoors today, first responders across Siouxland hit the roads to make sure those who did venture out stayed safe. While on the roads, many were taken to social media to give an update on weather and road conditions. And roads across Siouxland are still slick and some even snow covered tonight. Be sure to check the 511 website for Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota for up-to-date road conditions before you leave tomorrow. And a number of communities around Siouxland have issued snow emergencies this weekend. Here in Sioux City, we want to remind you that there's no parking on the emergency snow routes. Plus, odd-even street parking is in effect as well, which means all vehicles will need to be moved to the odd side of the street by 7 a.m. tomorrow. And a number of events have been rescheduled due to the blizzard. Bishop Heelan Catholic School's annual auction will now be held on Monday night, beginning at 5:30 at the Sioux City Convention Center. The Scouting for Food Drive pickup will now take place next Saturday, April 21st. In Homer, Nebraska, the high school prom and post-prom will also be held April 21st. And for a full list of postponements and cancellations, just visit SiouxlandNews.com. And despite the snowy weather, that didn't stop hundreds of circus lovers from heading to the circus. People filled the seats at the 2018 Abu Bakr Shrine Circus at the Tyson Event Center. People traveled from as far as Omaha to experience a variety of exciting performances and fun-filled entertainment for the family.
Well, we had high winds all the way up, but some whiteout conditions.
It was slick and it was hard to see a lot of the time, and there were a lot of people around us.
We're from Iowa, we're used to it.
Many of the people who had tickets for today, Saturday, are already switching them to tomorrow. So some people are right on it.
And if you missed today's circus, no worries, you can still check it out tomorrow at 1 p.m. or at 5 p.m. And while we're dealing with snow and when other parts of the U.S. are dealing with severe everything from fire and ice to blizzards and a tornado, CBS's Dave Begnaud has more.
And you could see debris just going like this, and we immediately got back in, shut the door and locked it. And I told the kids, I said it might get loud, and that's when it hit.
Utility crews are working to get Mountainburg, Arkansas back online after this small town of nearly 700 people was devastated by a tornado on Friday.
Brandon, I'm scared.
This Arkansas couple raced against the tornado and lost. Thankful for their seatbelts, they were unhurt when their vehicle flipped into a ditch. In northeast Louisiana, a 2-year-old child was killed overnight when a tree crashed into the RV she was sleeping in. 4 adults and a toddler, also inside, got out okay. To the north in Oklahoma, firefighters are struggling to get the upper hand against the Ray Fire. Wildfires have charred more than 365,000 acres across the western part of the state. Across the plains, spring snowfall is the issue. Whiteout conditions in Sioux Falls led State Patrol to warn drivers they may not be able to reach you if you become stranded. Some in the Midwest are expecting to see up to a foot of snow.
I'm just here until the DOT says we can move.
Long-haul truckers skirting across Interstate 90 have been forced to park their big rigs and wait it out.
I think I'm gonna be stuck here. I'm from Oklahoma, and we don't run into situations like this. This is all new animal for me.
David Begnaud, CBS News, Mountainburg, Arkansas.
While we saw only a few inches of snow here in Siouxland, up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, they saw a lot more. The city was nearly turned into an island as Interstate 90 and Interstate 29 were closed in almost every direction around the city for much of Friday night and into Saturday afternoon. Sioux Falls and the surrounding area saw nearly a foot of snow in what the mayor called a beast of a storm. People in western Nebraska caught the brunt of the snowstorm, and it left more than 100 people stranded alongside Interstate 80. These photos sent to Siouxland News by the Nebraska State Patrol show several vehicles, and at one stretch, nearly 50 vehicles were stranded in the snow and wind. Nearby Sidney Public Schools sent school buses to transport people to nearby hotels and rest areas. Officers in that area also responded to more than 80 other motorist assist calls this morning alone. There has been one confirmed fatality accident in Nebraska due to the blizzard. The fatality was a result of a crash involving 2 semis in the median of Interstate 80 near mile marker 84. Rolla Ward, 61 years old, of Idaho Falls, Idaho, was pronounced dead at the scene after the semi he was driving lost control, entered the median, and struck a semi that had previously become stranded. Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts has issued an emergency declaration in response to the blizzard. This declaration will allow state funds from the governor's emergency fund to be used for cleanup and aid. The hardest hit area is in western Nebraska. The heavy snow and high winds have left 3 small Nebraska towns without power and no way to get it fixed. Nebraska Public Power reports that a sub-transformer that supplies power to Emmett, Atchison, but Nebraska is out. But because of road conditions, they're unable to get backup generators and transformers into town to restore power. This happened Friday night and impacts about 1,300 customers. They're working with the local authorities to get backup power to the 3 towns by morning and hope to have power fully restored by Sunday afternoon.
It's certainly best that you stay indoors tonight and don't travel. You can see many roads partially or entirely covered with snow and some places even impassable. Stay indoors and stay safe. I'll have the details on just how much snow many places saw today coming up after the break.
Your first look with meteorologist Lydia Knox.
Welcome back, and check out this video from our sister station Kello in Sioux Falls. These robins are out braving the winter blizzard and trying to stay warm.
They're so chubby.
They're just so gluttonous and adorable. I just want to hold them.
I think I saw one of them here at the station actually earlier today, trying to stay close to the door to be away from the snow.
Right. Earlier when we were over at the circus, there was a few of them standing right outside the double doors.
So many of the little animals staying inside because we shouldn't be having this weather right now. Unfortunately, it's below average temperatures, and we certainly shouldn't be seeing snow in the middle of April. You can see it's still falling out there all the way up towards Sioux Falls and then down towards the south near Wayne and even just a little bit east of Norfolk. Here at the station, we are still seeing those flakes flying in the air. Our Skywatch camera is looking out over I-29 right now, and the good news is we're not seeing any cars passing along this evening, and that's certainly advice that I want to relay to you guys because you don't want to travel this evening, and even for the next 12 hours or so, roads are not going to be in great condition. You can see the variety of totals we've seen today, or the reports that have been sent in. Sioux Center 2 inches, but other places like T in South Dakota over a foot of snow, and Sioux Falls certainly saw a ton there too, over 10 inches. Here in Sioux City, we've seen just a little bit over 5 inches of snow, but we are expecting more to accumulate as we head throughout the overnight hours. It's currently 25 degrees, but with those winds out of the north at 25 miles per hour, it's making it feel like single digits. So a bitterly cold night, and temperatures should normally be in the 60s for this time of year, so it certainly is below average. Winds across the tri-state area, and especially here in Siouxland, are gusty this evening, between 20 to over 30 miles per hour, and we've seen gusts up to 50 miles per hour today. Now with those winds that blew around the snow, reduced visibility substantially today, and you can see many places still looking at visibility less than 10 miles per hour. Over in Storm Lake, you can see mile-and-a-quarter visibility there, so not going to be great driving conditions throughout the next several hours. As we push our way into the overnight hours, we're going to see the snow taper off, but still many places could see those flakes beginning to fly, or at least remaining in the air by Sunday morning. I think mainly northwest Iowa is where it's going to stick around the longest. It looks like O'Neill is basically done with the snow for now, and it's continuing to push its way eastward. So again, northwest Iowa is the best chance for seeing more accumulating snow throughout the overnight hours and by the time we head into Sunday. The good news is there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and on Monday we're going to see plenty of sunshine. High pressure will be back in control, so hopefully that'll melt a lot of the snow that we've seen today and we'll see tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, things are looking to be very nice as well. Mostly sunny skies. There's a chance for seeing some rain, a little bit of a mixture by Tuesday evening, but for right now we're just focused on getting rid of the snow that we've seen today and throughout this weekend. Our snowfall totals that you're going to expect to see throughout the overnight hours, closer to 1 to 2 inches here in Sioux City, but you can see heavier amounts farther east you go, up towards Spencer, 3 inches there, and closer to Estherville, I think 4 inches or so is what you're going to expect to see throughout the overnight hours. Now the good news is some of our blizzard warnings have expired now, or they have been canceled. Where those shades of red and orange are, you can see that actually means blizzard warnings are still in effect until early Sunday morning, and then winter weather advisories, same thing goes there towards just the south of us. Tonight, look for an overnight low of 23 degrees, so still bitterly cold out there. Snow will be heavy at times, winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour, again making for those whiteout and blizzard-like conditions. Tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures actually heading into the 30s, but we're not going to get much warmer than that with that cloud cover sticking around. sunny on Monday with temperatures in the 40s, and then Tuesday look for 40s as well. Wednesday we're going to see some rainfall just in the morning hours, but you can see that the temperature is slowly warming up just a little bit.
All right, Lydia, thank you. And because of today's snow and wind, there are a number of area churches who have canceled their services for tomorrow morning. You can find a full list of those cancellations on our website, Siouxlandnews.com. Just go to the weather menu and click on closings, or you can download our Siouxland News app for your smartphone. And coming up after the break.
I'm Laura Podesta at the United Nations, where a vote was held on the U.S.-led missile attacks on Syria. At least 3 nations called it a violation of international law.
U.S. officials say Allied missile attacks last night crippled Syria's chemical weapons program. This after targeting specific areas in Syria's capital, but the Syrian regime is refuting the effectiveness of those strikes. Laura Podesta has the latest from the United Nations.
The Pentagon released photographic evidence of the bombed Barza facility in Syria's capital city of Damascus. The building was central to Bashar al-Assad's chemical weapons program.
This is going to set the Syrian chemical weapons program back for years.
Long-range Tomahawk missiles were launched from a U.S. Navy ship, striking 2 other chemical-related facilities early Saturday morning. Smoke was still rising from the ashes hours later. The airstrikes were in response to the suspected chemical attack that left dozens dead last weekend in Douma. Assad has denied any involvement, but Vice President Mike Pence put him and the leaders of Iran and Russia on notice.
To be clear, the United States is also ready to take additional action in a sustained way to ensure that Syria understands there will be a price to pay if they ever use chemical weapons again.
Following the bombing campaign, Syrian TV quickly released video of Assad casually walking through a building. A resolution condemning the missile attack put forth by Russia here at the UN Security Council was rejected.
We acted to deter the future use of chemical weapons by holding the Syrian regime responsible for its atrocities against humanity.
On Saturday, a team of UN chemical experts arrived in Syria to investigate whether Assad's government was responsible for the attack a week ago. And Syrians danced in the street as a show of defiance against the United States. Laura Podesta, CBS News at the United Nations.
Coming up after the break, we've talked all about the snow, but what about everything else going on around Siouxland? The rest of your local news, including a trip to Siouxland for a gubernatorial candidate, is all up next. It might not seem like bike weather today, but we're just a few months away from RAGBRAI 2018, and the ride's second host city has unveiled their theme for the annual ride across Iowa. Denison, Iowa will be playing host for Night 2 of RAGBRAI, and their theme? Bacon. It's what we smoke here, legal in all 50 states. Along with the theme, 6 musical acts will be performing, including Omaha Street Percussion and the Johnny Holm Band. RAGBRAI hits Denison on Sunday, July 22nd. A Sergeant Bluff call center has closed its doors for the final time tonight. Nearly 180 employees will be impacted by the closure, which was announced at the end of January. The company said that they plan to consolidate the work from Siouxland to other Convergys locations. Few employees were offered full-time work from home positions, while others were offered job placement assistance. A candidate for Iowa governor made a stop in Sioux City yesterday. Dr. Andy McGuire toured the Siouxland Community Health Center and the Jackson Recovery Center during her visit. These tours are part of McGuire's 7-point plan to combat the state's mental health and substance abuse crisis.
Our government right now is putting profits ahead of people, and as a physician and someone who's been involved in healthcare my whole life, I always put patients first. You know, it's an oath I took to put patients first, and so I will always put people first as your governor, and I think we need someone who's willing to stand up for people.
The Democratic candidate and Waterloo, Iowa native spoke with medical providers at both stops about the issues healthcare providers in Iowa face. It affects 1 in every 68 children in the U.S., and this month is Autism Awareness Month.
Should I sing your song to you? Or will you sing it with me?
One Iowa band has released a song that hits close to home. There's a story up ahead. It's Autism Awareness Month, and an Iowa band is bringing awareness to the issue. That's because this disorder hits home for frontman Mike Butterworth. Lauren Donovan reports.
Should I sing your song to you? Or will you sing it with me?
It's a toe-tapping, sweet melody from a dad about his boy.
Because it was so very personal. It's not like a breakup song that everyone can sort of relate to.
And that's what makes this song so intimate for Mike Butterworth. He's co-lead singer of Des Moines group The Nadas. The band has recorded albums the last 20 years, but only this song is about a 9-year-old. This is Henry, Mike's son, best bud, and the musical number's namesake. They do a lot of stuff together.
His new thing is to say, "Dad, I'd like to take a relaxing walk." I said, me too.
And check out their matching chucks. But this bond goes far beyond Converse.
Oh, and he's a good little singer. He's got a beautiful little voice.
Henry has autism. His dad is his safe space.
I'm kind of his go-to for comfort. If he gets upset, I'm the one that can most easily calm him down.
Raising a child with autism is a roller coaster ride, says Mike. April is Autism Awareness Month, so he decided to share the meaning behind his song, Henry James. The father of 4 hopes his music video, made of home movies, will move people.
This is something that I felt could be shared and maybe would do some good.
Now, with over 1,000 shares on Facebook, Mike knows hearts are being touched and people are learning about kids like Henry.
I think I'm most proud of what it's doing in the community. I've been missing.
100% of the proceeds from the song go to autism awareness. For one typically reluctant to share, he's now grateful. It's put his Henry James in the spotlight.
Boy, that is one beautiful story. And Mike Butterworth and his band, The Nadas, will be honored for their work later this year. They'll be inducted into the Iowa Music Hall of Fame this summer. Welcome back, and meteorologist Lydia Knox joins us once again, this time from outside. Lydia, how's it looking out there tonight?
Well, right now we're not really seeing too much activity. There's some light snow falling at the moment, and from right now what I can tell, it's not great packing snow, but for the most part, you're going to want to stay inside. It's going to be a chilly night, dipping into the lower 20s. Tomorrow, we're only going to get into the low 40s. It's going to be cloudy, and that snow will be tapering off throughout the overnight hours and then ending by early tomorrow morning. By the time we get into Saturday, Monday, things are going to look much better. Sunny skies, and then that sunshine is going to stick around to Tuesday, but we do have the risk of seeing some snow, possibly mixed with rain Tuesday night heading into Wednesday morning. For now, though, I'm Lydia Knox. Yetska, back to you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Lydia. And coming up tomorrow right here on KMEG 14, it's time for Country Music's Party of the Year, the 53rd Academy of Country Music Awards, live from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, beginning at 7 p.m. This year's award show is hosted by Reba McEntire and will feature performances by Lady Antebellum, Keith Urban, Little Big Town, and much more. So tune in tomorrow night at 7 right here on KMEG 14. From all of us at Siouxland News, have a great night.